What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today I am sharing swatches of the Holo Taco Birthstone collection. But before we get into that, I do want to make a quick disclaimer. As of the filming of this video, the polishes have actually sold out. I believe that they sold out the same day that they went live. So I wasn't able to get a video up in time, obviously, but I did ask you guys on social media if you wanted to see a review of them anyway, and the majority of you did say yes. So I figured I would share my swatches just so at least you could see them, especially if you already purchased them and you're curious to see more swatches, or because I do believe they are going to be back in stock, so this could be helpful for the future. But yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you aren't interested in seeing swatches of polishes that are not currently available, I would not recommend watching this video. But yeah, if you haven't heard of Holo Taco before, they are a nail polish brand created by YouTuber Cristine of Simply Nailogical, and all their polishes are 10 free, meaning they are free of 10 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal-derived ingredients, and they're also cruelty-free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So like I said, we've got the Birthstone collection, which is 12 brand new nail polishes, and as you can guess, they are Birthstone inspired, so we have a different one for each month. And we actually have a lot of different formulas here. We've got some flakies, we've got some shimmers, we've got some holo, so there's really a lot going on in this collection. So let me dive into the swatches, then we can get into pricing, availability, my thoughts, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today it's the Orly Bonder base coat. So I am going to go in more of a color order rather than birthstone order, just so you can see any similar colors side by side. So I'm going to start off with Birthday Brat, and this one is a really beautiful, slightly deeper pink color, and this is actually reminiscent of their Frosted Metals formula, but it is slightly different. So we have the pink jelly-like sort of base going on in here, and then we do have these silver foil flakies running throughout, but we also have a hollow sparkle running throughout. And even though this was a jelly base, I actually ended up getting really nice coverage on this one, so it did cover up my visible nail line fully in 2 coats. Next up we have the shade Ruby Madly Deeply, and this one is a jelly red base, and it actually leans a little bit more on the orangey side of red, and within that we've got some red glitters as well as hollow glitters running throughout. And again, even though it's a jelly formula, it did have really nice opacity. It ended up covering my visible nail line in the first coat, but I did need 2 coats just to get that full depth of coverage and to also see how deep that color ended up actually being on my nails. But I think this is such a stunning shade, and something about these warmer kind of reds always makes me think of Lunar New Year, so I feel like this is such a perfect color for that, but it also feels like it's going to be a great winter holiday color for me. Next up we have the shade Gosh Garnet, which, by the way, incredible name, love the pun of this one. And this one is actually described as being a deep burgundy shade, although I will say I found that this one was a lot more in the orange coppery kind of color. So this one also very opaque. I did end up getting full coverage in the first coat, but I did apply a second just to show you what that looked like, and I think you can really see the main color shift going on here. So we do have that reddish coloring in that blackened sort of base, but we do have a very strong orangey shimmer as well, and I think looking at it head on, I did primarily see that orangey color, so it's almost like a blackened copper to me with a little bit of a red shift. Then we have the shade Topaz Tears, and I have to say I don't think this is a formula we've seen from Holo Taco yet, and I truly love it. I feel like this definitely embraces that indie sort of vibe. So we've got this brown jelly base, and then within that we've got some iridescent green flakies that shift into a more golden color, and then we also have a gold shimmer as well as some gold hollow shimmer running throughout. And this to me is just the perfect Halloweeny swampy green kind of color. I love this mixture of the brown and the gold and the green together. It feels like a mystery forest kind of vibe, or like a witch's brew, and I just think it's so fun and perfect. It was a little bit sheer in the first coat, but I ended up actually getting really nice coverage in the second. Next up we have another green shade. This one is Peridon't Bother Me, and this one is a really beautiful duochromy lime green shimmer. So again, a little bit sheer in the first coat, but it ended up giving me perfect coverage in 2, and looking at it head on, you can see that beautiful lime green color that sort of shifts into more of a yellowy green at certain certain angles, but it is just so vibrant and bright. And again, it feels like a perfect Halloween-y sort of green, just that like typical Halloween slimy oozy kind of color. But I feel like I could also definitely make this work as a holiday shade or even as a summer color. And I love to see Holo Taco leaning into a lot of really green shades recently. It's very fun. And then we've got one final green in this collection, although to me, this one I would say leans a little bit more on the teal side of green. This one is called Emerald City, and we've got this sort of teal base, and within that we've got some iridescent flakies that look green as well as teal and a little bit of turquoise in there. And then we also have a subtle scattered holo running throughout. Again, perfect coverage in 2 coats. I loved the depth of this one. It definitely feels like a little bit of a siren mermaid kind of vibe to me, and I do love the little pops of green that you get within that sort of blackened teal base in there. Moving on, we have the shade, the price is Alexandrite, and this one is actually a multichrome polish. So primarily the shift that I see for this one is a turquoise color into a cooler toned purple, but what's special about this one is that there's other added finishes in there to make it a little bit more than your average multichrome polish. So we actually have some shifty multichrome flakies in there, and you can see those are like the little pops of color and texture that you see. And then we also have a scattered holo running throughout. So I think this is really fun. It gave me perfect coverage in 2 coats, but I always think it's really great when brands do more interesting spins on multichrome polishes because there's really only so many color combos. So I kind of love to see a unique twist on that. And then we've got the shade Happily Ever Aqua, which is a really light icy blue linear holo polish. So as you can see, again, a little bit sheer on the first coat, but it ended up giving me perfect coverage in the second. And one thing that I like to note about linear holo polishes is when they're wet, you can't always see how holographic they look. So I always recommend waiting for them to dry before you judge the holo. So this is what it looks like when it's dry, and it is definitely intensely holographic. It's a perfect icy wintry blue to me, and it does have a little bit of a light blue shimmer in there as well, just to add a little bit of sparkle. So I do like that. And then we have the shade Playing with Sapphire, and this one is what looks like a black or very dark blue jelly base that is totally filled with these iridescent blue flakies running throughout, as well as a scattered holo sparkle. And this is another one that I totally loved. It does remind me a little bit of the Mooncat shade House of Hades, just with those iridescent blue flakies kind of glowing within this dark base. So I thought that was a fun similarity going on here, but I do love the added holo. Again, it does feel very different from that light icy blue, but it feels like another perfect wintry sort of blue to me. So feels perfect for the winter holidays, but it also feels great for a New Year's kind of vibe. Moving on, we have the shade Tanzanite Away, and this one is a very cool toned purple base, almost into indigo territory, that has a very warm toned coppery red shimmer running throughout, as well as a scattered holo sparkle. And as you probably know, I mention it a lot, but I love the combination of a very cool base with a warm shimmer or a warm base with a cool shimmer. So this kind of combination really speaks to me. I love a purple like this that's very cool toned that has a warm shimmer, but this one is a lot deeper than what I've seen before, so I do like this variation on it. It definitely feels like a sort of cosmic galaxy type of manicure to me. Next, we've got their shade Crystal Mommy, which is another purple, but it's very different. This one is in the Crushed Holo formula, which is actually one of my favorite holo formulas from Holo Taco. It's kind of these little diamond chips of silver holographic glitter, and I think they just add a really interesting look to the nail. But we also have a little bit more of a scattered holo as well as a pink shimmer running throughout, so it definitely gives a lighter, brighter kind of color. And I love this sort of pinky toned purple. It feels very springy to me, and the formula was really smooth and workable, and it gave me perfect coverage in 2 coats. And last but not least, we we have the shade Ride or Diamond, and this one is a silver holo polish that is totally packed with all the different types of holo. So we've got holo flakies, we've got scattered holo, we've got linear holo pigment, and it's all in this beautiful clear base where you can really just see all of that gorgeous color and rainbow sparkle coming through. And I was concerned that this was going to be a super thick polish, but it ended up actually being really workable on the nails. So it's a really gorgeous shade. I think it would be such a perfect accent nail, but it's also really beautiful as a full manicure. And here's all the polishes together side by side, and I do think we have a really nice variety of different formulas going on here. I will say overall I felt that the colors did skew a little bit on the deeper side, which honestly I do enjoy, especially for this time of year. I feel like it makes a lot of sense for the fall and winter because it really makes these shades wearable for this specific time of year rather than focusing on making all of the shades work for their own respective seasons. So I did actually enjoy that, but what I really loved is the way that they experimented with different formulas here, like having a multi-chrome that had extra stuff going on in there with the flakies and the holo, or having these more flaky inspired types of formulas that felt very different from what we normally see from Holo Taco. So I really love to see when they lean into this more indie style of creating polishes, and I think that's probably why they sold out so quickly, because people really enjoyed this style of polish making. So I think this was really fun, really enjoyed the collection, but let's talk about it a little bit more. So yeah, those are the polishes, and I have to say overall I really enjoyed this collection. I can definitely understand why it sold out super quickly. I feel like it can be very tricky to make a birthstone collection or zodiac collection or anything that kind of involves like having different signs or groups, because I feel like a lot of people have certain expectations for what colors come out for certain seasons, and I'm not honestly an expert on birthstones, so I can't really speak to that. But in terms of variety of colors, I think they did an amazing job. Variety of formulas, also amazing. They all applied really nicely and smoothly, and I do think there's a little something here for everyone. But yeah, let's talk about pricing and availability. Like I said, these polishes are not currently available. They did sell out. However, I do believe that there is going to be a restock. So all of the polishes come in 12 milliliter bottles. They do have a wide flat brush that has a rounded tip, so application's really easy, and they are retailing for $14 USD each. If and when they do come back in stock, that is the pricing information. I am going to link the Holo Taco website down below so that when it does come back in stock, you can grab them. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on these. Did you end up grabbing them when they were available, or are you interested in picking any of them up in the future? And also, which color is your birthstone, and do you think it actually aligns with your birthstone? Do you think it's your favorite of the set? Leave it all in the comments, we can chat about it. And if you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe. I really appreciate you all, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question for all of us to answer is, would you rather be royalty 1,000 years ago or an average person today? And I thought this was a really interesting one because, again, I think I'm going to be in the minority with my answer here. I would very much rather be an average person today. I mean, actually, maybe that's not going to be the minority answer. That's probably going to be the majority answer. Royalty 1,000 years ago probably still had less than we have now as average people. But also, I do want to talk about, I feel like there's a lot of people who say stuff like, oh, I was born in the wrong decade, or I wish I was born in XYZ generation or decade. And I have never been that person. I feel like I am nothing without my creature comforts, and I feel like I am nothing without the level of technology that I have now. I sometimes think about the way that I existed in the 90s, and I am just shocked that I got through it. Even just thinking back, like, I don't know what I would do without my medication, without my straightener for my hair, without contact lenses. I mean, my goodness, I feel like I rely so much on the technology of today that I absolutely need to live in this time. In fact, I'm a little curious to see what's going to be even easier in the future. So yeah, I've never been that type of person. But as a bonus question, I am curious, if you are a person who says you were born in the wrong generation, let me know which generation you are born in and what generation you wish you were born in, because I'm curious. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.